today's topic is microscopy. So microscopy, we have many different types of microscopes. We have light microscope, contrast phase contrast microscope, or electron microscope. Many types of microscopes are present. Among that, the few which are very much important, very much commonly utilized microscopes that I am dealing with today. So first one is the light microscope, or a compound microscope, that what we usually use it in the laboratories. So the principle behind this light microscope, the light microscope is an instrument for visualizing fine detail of an object. It does this by creating a magnified image through the use of the series of glass lenses, which first focuses a beam of light onto through an object, and a convex object lives to enlarge the image formed. Okay, and then in the majority of the light microscopes, the image is viewed directly through the binocular lenses or the eyepieces that act as a secondary lens to form a magnifying glass to observe the projected image. Okay, so what is magnification actually meaning? The magnification is simply the enlargement of the specimen. Okay, it's basically a small object need to be magnified for our visualization. In a compound lenses system, each lens sequentially enlarges or magnifies the specimen. Okay, so one lens, if it is magnifying, the other is got connected with it, the one which is going to multiply the magnification. Okay, I'll tell you in detail now. See, the object lens magnifies the specimen, producing a real image that is then magnified by the ocular lenses, resulting in the final image. Now you got it. So the first is the real image is formed by the objective lens, and then the ocular lens is there, which is again going to multiply the size of the image. Okay, so an image of an object or a specimen is formed by the objective lens, which typically provides a magnification in a range about 10x to 100x. It can vary. 10x you have a 45x objective lens, isn't it? So the one which you rotate it and fix it, right? 10x you will focus, and 45x you focus, and even you have the 100x also. Okay, so 10x, 45x, 100x is what is the range of the objective lenses, the one which you fix it. This magnified image is viewed through the eyepiece. The top you have the eyepiece which you observe it under the microscope. So that is the eyepiece, correct? So the eyepiece also has a lens, or the ocular lens which we call it as, which also has a magnification of about 10x, right? So this eyepiece is also multiplying the image what is being formed there, the real image is multiplied 10 times, that is 10x, right? So that image of multiplied 10 times more bigger, which you see it under the eyepiece, right? So the total magnification of the microscope is obtained by the multiplying of the objective and the ocular and the eyepiece magnification. So meaning, if you are observing the specimen under 45x, let's see, or 10x, okay, so 10x is your eyepiece and 10x is the objective. So 10 into 10, 100 times the bigger size of the image what you are seeing under the microscope. Clear now? Okay. So these are the parts of the microscopes. Let us go on with the functions also. See, eyepiece, what I discussed right now, is the ocular lens which we have, which we see it under the microscope, isn't it? That is the region where we see. So that is the eyepiece or the ocular lens, which is going to help us for the magnification of the image. And this is the supporting body or the arm which is there, and you have a stage where the supports the slide need to be kept there, isn't it? And focuses the images. This is the you have the adjusting knobs, and fine adjusting knob, and the you have the coarse adjusting knob, isn't it? then supports the microscope. This is the stand which we have seen, and see, the maintains the proper distance between the lenses. The portion where the body tube is there, that maintains the distance between the lenses. Rotating the objects, see here, objective lenses can be rotated here. This is what I was speaking, isn't it? 10x, 45x, what we adjust here. Magnification is of course done by the objective lenses, and rest all you already know it. That regulates the amount of light, that is the diaphragm. The diaphragm which which you rotated so that the light is properly focused on the specimen. So this is the inner components of the microscope, which you cannot see through your naked eyes. What is exactly happening inside the microscope? Say suppose if this is the specimen which we are seeing here. This is the light microscope. This I will come to you little later, because this is the transition electron microscope. Okay, so when we are dealing with the electron microscope, I'll come back to this so that you can clearly understand what exactly this is all about. Okay, so now basically the light microscope has a light source, and you have a condenser lens, you have the specimen kept here, objective lenses there, and then eyepiece lenses are there through which the specimens are observed. Correct? So this is the eyepiece region, right, which you see. So when you are seeing it, you see an enlarged image which is there here, the specimen. Resolution. What do you mean by resolution? The resolution of an optical microscope is defined as the shortest distance between the 2 points. A specimen that can still be distinguished by the observer or a camera system as separate entities. Resolution is also related to the wavelength of the light. Okay, so which is used to image a specimen. Light of shorter wavelength or separate of wavelength are capable of resolving the greater detail than the longer wavelength. Even it is a shorter, the wavelength, the capacity of resolving the greater detail. Okay, so greater detail than the longer wavelength. That is called as resolution. So lateral resolution is what? Is an ideal light of a microscope is limited to around 200 nanometer, whereas axial resolution is around 500 nanometer. So phase contrast microscopy, or nothing but microscope. So phase contrast microscopy is based on the principle that a small phase changes in the light rays induced by differences in the thickness and refractive index of different parts of an object can be transferred into differences in brightness or the light intensity. Okay, so where we are going to have a control towards the brightness of the light intensity on the object. So a phase contrast microscope differs from the normal microscope in having two additional components. What is the two additional components which is making it as a phase contrast microscope? So substage annular diaphragm. What is this diaphragm is going to do? The diaphragm is usually going to control the light intensity which is falling onto the specimen. Okay, so as you can see here, see the image plane is there, and you have a condenser, you have a specimen capture, objective, and the direct surround light. Okay, so the observer is observing it here, and you have a digital camera system also being fixed. Transmitted light or biological microscope is nothing but this. Okay, so see the condenser annulus is present here, wherein you are going to have a diaphragm before the objective. See here, the substage annular diaphragm is present. See, the substage annular diaphragm is located below the substage condenser of the microscope. The substage annular diaphragm helps to create a narrow hollow cone or ring-like illuminate the object. So it is below the condenser here. Okay, so that can be a phase. See here, condenser annulus. So this is the condenser which is there below the condenser. So that is called a substage annular diaphragm. What is phase plate now? Phase plate is also called as diffraction plate or phase retardation plate. It is located at the back focal plane of an objective lens. Phase plate helps to reduce the phase of the incident light. So it is going to reduce the incident light. See here it is. So exactly which is there here above the objective. Clear? So it is located back focal plane of the objective lens. Phase helps to reduce the phase of the incident light. So phase contrast is preferable to bright field microscopy when high magnification like 400x or 1000x are needed and the specimen is colorless. Okay, or details so fine that the color does not show up well. In that conditions, we are going to utilize this phase contrast. Okay, so that the light is minimized so that we can visualize the image properly. The phase contrast imaging is a highest resolution imaging technique where developed and can allow for resolutions of less than 1 angstrom also. It thus enables the direct viewing of the columns of atoms in a crystalline material. So you can directly view the atoms also. So clear crystal image that you can see through the phase contrast microscope. Now what is this electron microscope? We have come across electron microscope. So fluorescent microscopy. The principle behind fluorescent microscope is simple. As light leaves the arc lamp, it is directed towards the exciter filter, which selects the excitation wavelength. Okay, so here the one which we have electron microscope, the advanced one we'll study little later. So the first is the fluorescent microscope which we have to deal with. Light we completed, phase contrast we completed. Now it's a fluorescent, isn't it? So it's a special mirror called as dichroic mirror which is present. The light is reflected towards the sample by the special mirror, okay, which is designed to reflect the light only at the excitation wavelength. Okay, only at the excitation wavelength this is going to actually work. Okay, so the reflected light passes through the objective lens where it is focused onto the fluorescent specimen. So the fluorescence microscopy looks like this. So this is the emission filter, excitation filter is here, dichromatic mirror or dichroic mirror which is there here, and here is the UV light passes through the optical fiber. Okay, exactly how it looks is here. See here, this is the light source which we are discussing about, which passes through it. A dichroic mirror is the emission filter is the excitation filter is through which the light is passed, and we are going to view the picture. So any fluorescence microscope if equipped with a suitable light source or a filters, a high numerical aperture objective and a sensitive camera can be used for this. Therefore, the cell is magnified 160 times and the camera pixels which are 16 micron mu m in size correspond to the 100 nanometer in the image. So much times it is going to magnify and so crystal clear picture that you can see. The resolution of conventional fluorescence microscopy is limited by diffraction to about 180 nanometer in the focal plane to about 500 nanometer along the optical axis. What is that exactly meaning is, see, the resolution power of a microscope is calculated in a nanometers. Okay, so thereby for this particular microscope it is 500 nanometer. Clear? So this is the ideology, how exactly the image is being formed through the dichromatic mirror. Electron microscopy. What do you mean by electron microscope? Electron microscope, as you all heard about it here. So electron microscope, wherein the electrons are. So the principle behind the electron microscope is, um, an electron microscope uses an electron beam. This is the specialty of the electron microscope, to produce the image of an object, and magnification is obtained by the electromagnetic field. An electron microscope can resolve objects as small as 0.001 micron. Okay, that is equal to 10 angstroms, as compared to the 0.2 micron by a light microscope. Thus, the resolving power of an electron microscope is 200 times greater than that of the light microscope. It produces useful magnification up to, it is around 4 lakh. Okay, as compared to that of the two, 2000 in the light microscope. So there are two types of the electron microscope that we are going to deal with. Two, that is scanning electron microscope, and the transmission electron microscope. What is the difference between these two? I will tell you now. So this is the electron microscope, which is SEM, scanning electron microscope. Looks like this. Image is formed in the monitor. Okay, you cannot visually see it here. You can actually see it under the system. Okay, so this is the scanning microscope. The scanning electron microscope is exposed to a narrow beam of an electron gun, which uh, rapidly moves over or scans the surface of the specimen. Okay, we are going to see 3D pictures there. Okay, this causes a realize of the shower of secondary electrons and other types of radiations from the specimen surface. So this is how the image is formed in the SEM, scanning electron microscope. These are the red blood cells, RBC cells, which we have. So you can see it under the microscope. This is a 3D image that you can see very clearly the cell or the object which is being seen. Okay. So the next is the transmission electron microscope, wherein in this microscope, as an electron beam from an electron gun is transmitted through an ultra thin sections of the microscopic object, and an image is magnified by the electromagnetic field. It is used to observe fine details of the internal structures of the microscope objects, such as bacterial cell and the other cells. This almost TEM and SEM almost looks the same. Okay, so the components which are there inside it is slightly different. So this is the electron gun, this is the anode or the electron plate which is there, and this is the condenser light specimen. Objective aperture lens is there, intermediate lens is there, projector lens is there, and the fluorescent screen which you can see through on the screen you can see the object. So this is the image formed by the TEM. This is a thin sections images are formed here. Okay, this is a pancreatic cell example, and this is the cell which is an olfactory nerve cell. Okay, I will show you the mechanism of the particular which I had told you. I will be coming back after the electron microscope, isn't it? See here, this is a transmission electron microscope which has been there. So here you can see that the electron source is there, condenser lenses are there, specimen is kept here, but the specimen kept here in the scanning microscope. The difference is here is slightly changed because the refracted rays are collected or detected in the detectors, and then you can see it under the monitor. This is the scanning cell or a beam deflector, wherein this is the condenser lens and this is a detector. This is how the components arranged in the transmission electron microscope and the scanning electron microscope comparatively with the light microscope. Now you understood what is the slight differences between them and how magnified the images are. See, highly magnified condenser lenses that we could see comparatively to that of the light microscope. Okay, so here ends up the topic of the microscopy which we were talking about, and if you have any doubt, you can have a comment on the comment section, and if you like the video, if you have understood, then you can like it and subscribe.